The new secret of the mimic was a turning point for the FNAF saga. Certainly. One of the main things it did was change our perspective of the story to the point where many even think it has completely rewritten the history, initiating a kind of well-planned retcon to alter the timeline, even modifying the origin of the animatronics and how they were stolen by Fazbear Entertainment for many years. However, something I've noticed, and that very few people are talking about, is the true original animatronics of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, those that were planned after the success of Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. We all know the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Band, mainly composed of Freddy, Bonnie, Monty, and Bob. Well, in this video, I'm going to explain which ones were the originals and why they've been right under our noses all this time. Before we start, remember to subscribe, comment, and leave a like, as it would help me a lot. Only a very small percentage of those who watch this video are subscribed, so what are you waiting for? Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and let's begin. I should clarify that this is a theory and should not be taken as confirmation, although it most likely is. For many years, each Five Nights at Freddy's game made us believe that the original animatronic band was always composed of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. In Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we saw them spread out on the stage, 3 in 1, and Foxy having his own section in Pirate Cove, always out of order. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the roster of animatronics expanded much more, featuring the same animatronics, but now withered and damaged, new toy versions, a puppet, several phantoms, and 2 children with balloons. And in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we had a single character followed by several phantoms. Springtrap, the zombie version of William Afton who occupied the Spring Bonnie suit, another of the animatronics that came from an old location we knew as Fredbear's Family Diner. This was, in theory, the original pizzeria where Spring Bonnie and Fredbear were, respectively, whom we saw as a ghostly entity known as Golden Freddy. The thing is, after the release of FNAF 3, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 complicated absolutely everything, introducing not only the 2 previous golden animatronics we already knew, but also the nightmares in 1983, represented by Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, respectively. This opened up the possibility that perhaps both restaurants, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and Fredbear's Family Diner, coexisted for a time. The games went by, and it wasn't until FNAF's Secret of the Mimic that our questions would finally be answered, but in a somewhat different way. This opened up the possibility that perhaps both restaurants, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and Fredbear's Family Diner, coexisted for a time, since neither in sister location, where we actually had a completely new range of animatronics, nor in the other games was it clarified which restaurant and which animatronics were the first to be built and manufactured for children's entertainment. But this game came to answer those questions. As I've explained in previous videos, I told you that Murray's Custom Manor, Edwin Murray's factory of animatronics and contraptions, was responsible for making Fazbear Entertainment's dream of having its own animatronics for its future restaurant a reality. This happened approximately between 1975 and 1979, so by that date, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza did not exist, but Fredbear's Family Diner did, as it was just being built. This restaurant had none other than 2 unique animatronic mascots. With this in mind, the birth of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza came with the addition of 2 new animatronics, Chica and Foxy, both of whom were, in fact, originally owned by Edwin and his wife, but would end up being part of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza after being repurposed as new animatronics for this future restaurant, which would be established after 1979. However, in the same place where we find the original molds and prototypes for the animatronics we would see in this restaurant, we can come across 2 Springlock suits of 2 curious new characters who had not appeared until then, confirming that, indeed, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza didn't just have the 4 main animatronics that we all know and love, but also a crocodile named Monty and a dog named Bob. And who are these 2 new tronics that appeared out of nowhere and apparently existed even before Chica and Foxy? Well, we have seen them slowly making their way into the original band for several years now. We just hadn't noticed how. Monty first appeared in FNAF Security Breach, replacing Bonnie in the main animatronic band. And in fact, there is a small origin story that explains why Fazbear Entertainment decided, in inverted commas, to replace Bonnie with Monty. It was mostly due to jealousy on his part, as Bonnie was the star of the show, leading him to completely destroy him and leave him as a pile of useless parts due to his bad temper. But Fazbear hid this origin story so that Monty could now become the new replacement guitarist for Bonnie at this new establishment. The thing is, it seems Monty was already a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza character who had existed for many years, the proof of this being his appearance as a springlock suit in Secret of the Mimic, confirming that, in fact, what they did was simply reuse an old, dusty character they had in storage to be the replacement for a more classic one. As for Bob, we saw him for the first time in the Five Nights at Freddy's film. At first, he seemed to be a small Easter egg of what was supposed to be a community-created animatronic, the much acclaimed Sparky the dog. He first originated back in 2014, when many fans believed he was a real hidden animatronic that existed inside the parts and service room. But this turned out to be false. Until his appearance in the FNAF film, where he made an unexpected appearance in the same place, the parts and service area, where it is in fact known that he was one of the discarded suits from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which would partly confirm that he did, in fact, exist a very long time ago. This confirmation completely changes our perspective on the story, as it would be presenting a completely different origin story for the animatronics, and would bring into question whether Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were ever the originals, but rather Freddy, Bob, Bonnie, and Monty, each of them having their respective area and stage, forming the first original band of characters for this restaurant from 1980 to 1983. And are these animatronics real? Yes, they are real. I know many of you must be wondering this right after seeing the huge change this implies. But if we look at the last sequence of FNAF Secret of the Mimic from the third alternative ending, they narrate a story in which we can select boxes where a bear, a chicken, a rabbit, a fox, a crocodile, and finally a dog appear, completely finishing and culminating the definitive connection that would put these two animatronics on the table as the originals of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, only to be later replaced by Chica and Foxy, and not appear again until many years later. But tell me what you think. Do you like that Bob and Monty are the original animatronics? I'll be reading your thoughts down in the comments. With nothing more to say. See you next time.